Hey guys, welcome back to Capsu Gaming. It is I, Capsu, and today we'll be starting a new series called Wapping with Capsu. It's a series for those who love to wap but have nothing to watch or listen to. Join me as we wap together and listen to me ramble like a madman. We may or may not have Bucky and Ray in the background, and they may or may not join on my madness. Let us jump right into it. Alright guys, first, make sure to have your equipment, preset, legion, link skill, and familiar ready. So I already have that sorted. I have my familiar out, and then we will need to pop our buffs, right? So I'm going to use my EXP coupon, my VIP. I will also use my gold, red, and green. And most importantly, we can't forget our WAPs. So in this video, it's going to be a 30-minute WAP. So I'm using a small wealth acquisition potion. So we're going to get that started. I'm also going to be using a Legion Luck and Legion Wealth. So now we're going to pick our favorite maps and get right into it. So pick your favorite map to WAP, guys. So this is my favorite map to WAP in. Alright, so begin and set up your rotation. So, for today, what is our topic to talk about? The rise of online learning platforms, pros and cons. Ah yes, that is indeed an interesting topic. Now let me think here. Well, in my experience, I do think that online learning is actually quite beneficial, especially there's just so many resources available for us to learn, whether it's free or paid. Now, the cons? Well, let's just think about it like this, right? With so much choices for us to have, what choices do we have? There's just so many things to learn, so many things to take in, that I do think that it gets hard for us to actually focus and narrow down what we want to learn. You see, if you want something, you can easily Google it, right? You can easily just search it up on YouTube. And I know most people now, they might even use TikTok to find information and resources as well. I find myself actually going on to Reddit a lot to learn things as well. But in terms of actually going to a dedicated learning platform, like paying for it, I do have experience with that, and I do have to say that it actually gets really hard to learn online. There is a difference when you're sitting in an actual classroom than if you were to sit in a virtual classroom. Well, that is if your class actually has, Zoom or meeting sessions. For the class that I was taken into, it was all pre-recorded videos. So, it gets hard because all the pressure and all the, expectation is really on your shoulder, right? It's really on you to actually, spend the time to watch the video and do the assignments. And let's be honest, yeah, sometimes it gets kind of hard. We're not gonna always be as diligent because when you're online on your computer, and if you don't set up a dedicated workspace, it's very easy to get distracted. I mean, like, when you go into your web browser and you try to go to your online college course to do, you might be tempted to see, hey look, there's Maplestory shortcut in the background, I might just launch that and play. And it might be tempting to be like, hey, as you're on the web browser, I might just open up YouTube to listen to some music, and next thing you know, you're watching something random on YouTube. So it's really hard to, stay motivated and stay dedicated if there isn't really any structure or time schedule for, the online platform, to really, guide you. It's really on you to do it. Whereas, if you were to go to the traditional sense of, attending class in person, if you don't show up, they might send an email or a letter to you. They might call you up to see if you're going to drop out. And, it adds some pressure onto you. But, you know, outside of like paid institution online free resources is so abundant that, man, what a time to live in. I remember back then, you know, like early internet. You want to learn something, it's pretty niche, yeah. It's not gonna be like, yeah, someone out there is gonna exactly have the same problem as you. But nowadays, you can just find so many things online. But I have to say, have you guys noticed that Google has been not as good as it used to be? I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I Google things and it's just so bloated now. It's like the information is not there, and you need to type in more information to really narrow it down even further. Maybe it's just me, guys. But yeah, some pros I can think of. Yes, the pros would be it's cheap, it's free, do it at your own pace, at your own house, at your own leisure. You get to save money from traveling, save money eating at home instead of being on campus and being tempted to buy food there. Downside, I guess, is the social aspect. It's gonna be a lot harder to make friends online, if any at all. It's gonna be hard to connect to your instructor, and if your instructor is a pre-recorded video, you ain't gonna be, having a lot of questions answered for you. You kind of have to figure it out. Cons would be that you have to manage your own time, your own schedule, to work on your own assignment. So I think, there's not much else for me to really talk about, the rise of online learning platform. Oh, but I do remember another thing is that there is a online training course that I used to frequently use, was Udemy. And boy, I have so many courses on Udemy that I don't think I'll ever be able to touch. Because I think that's the thing where if you see a course that is usually like $30 and it goes on sale or goes for free, like you just can't help but just like, I'm just gonna add it to cart, right? But then you end up just adding like hundreds and thousands of courses that I don't think I'll ever have time to look at. Same with Amazon. Sometimes Amazon comes with these books about like learning online, books about like trivial matters, and I'm like, oh, it's free, I'm just gonna go grab it. I doubt I'll ever go through it. So I guess that's the thing I was saying before, right? Is that there's just too many choices online, and if there's too many choices, we ain't gonna do it. Yet we're still gonna click that button to add it into our inventory, just in case one day we decide to get motivated enough to, decide to learn that course. Who knows, might come in handy. 10 minutes to get a six-pack, might come in handy one day. Alrighty, guys, so that was our first topic about the rise of online learning platform. I don't know if I stayed on topic, if I went off topic, if I even answered the damn question. I don't really know. It's interesting to try to talk and play, because sometimes, I am screwing up my rotation sometime. But, that's the fun of it, right? Just sit back and relax, guys. So on to the next topic. The future of genetic engineering, benefits, and ethical dilemmas. Now that's a spicy topic. So guys, if you guys don't know about this, these topics was provided by the Capsu crews. That's Spocky and Ray. They went in there and just threw me these topics for me to talk about. And if you guys want a chance for me to talk about a topic that you guys want to listen to, just put it down in the comments below. We'll be sure to read it, and who knows, I might just be talking about the topics that you have picked. So, getting back to the topic we're talking about, the future of genetic engineering. My God, what a future we are living in. I believe that we are very close to actually achieving that already. But that brings in so many questions. Like, wow, if we can genetically remove certain illnesses, disease, imagine like a world where you're born without cancer. In fact, when I heard the future of genetic engineering, I was thinking about like, more specifically like babies. But now that I think about it, that topic might even talk about like just genetically modifying living human beings right now. That's wild to even think about. Sorry, I have to take a step back now. Like, wow, if this includes also living humans, genetically modifying them, because you think about it, like it's technically kind of possible, because if your genetic can be, say, manipulated or altered because of like, I don't know, like radioactive radiation, theoretically the opposite could work. Yeah, if it can change for the negative, maybe there's a potential for it to change for the positive, how we like it. Not sure exactly how it will be done. Maybe through like genetic, like DNA in the chromosomes and the strands. Maybe they modify it there, and hopefully our body will read that DNA, and then eventually will repair itself or modify itself. I don't know the nitty-gritty detail. This is just me speculating, yeah, sci-fi style. But this can cure so many problems in our life. Like maybe we can genetically modify how frequently we eat, how fast we burn burn calories. Our metabolism can be as crazy as we like, or like we tell ourselves, like we can grow taller or shorter, or like anything we want, we can technically modify it to our liking. But we then come to the ethical dilemmas, right? Is that if you have the choice to be able to, say, change the way your skin is, yeah, like, make it more smooth and remove acne, right? Like, I think that's great and all, but what if it comes to like longevity, right? Like lifespan. If suddenly everyone in the world can live an extra 50 years, right? Who would actually be able to access that kind of benefits? I mean, like, should everyone be able to just live longer for 50% more of their lifetime, for example? Or is this gonna be only for the most elite people in the world, people with money? Is this gonna be like money gated, by the rich, and that only they can live forever, and us, we have no choice but to not have access to it because it's outside of our budget, for example? That's the question, right? Like, if we have a treatment for cancer, like, will we have pharmaceutical company fight against it? I mean, if you think about it, right? If we can genetically engineer ourselves to get rid of all these problems, yeah, then it's gonna be very impactful for the economy around the world. A lot of jobs in the world depends on us having problems, right? Because they solve an issue some way or another. Like, think about like hospital and healthcare, right? They would want us to be sick and ill so that private healthcare, private funding is a thing. Like, say for example, if we can somehow genetically engineer ourselves to fix fertility, right? Then scientists that work for IVF and all that, they don't even need to exist anymore. Like, how many people are gonna lose their job? How many companies are gonna lose money over this? Like, this is such a huge dilemma, right? Because it's almost like, on the borderline of, artificial intelligence. Like, if we suddenly genetically modify ourselves to never need to eat again, like hypothetically, we don't, like, I'm not saying we don't need to eat, but maybe like the consumption is drastically reduced, right? Or that we are just more efficient with our food, calories intake, yeah? And our body is just more hungry for calories, and therefore we, can obviously gain more muscle and body mass quickly. Like, are people going to really need to work to get food anymore? I know, like, food is just one part of the reason why people, have a job, right? But if I can live eating for less, I mean, that's gonna be amazing. But then again, like devil's advocate me is thinking, what if, you know, it's a poison to ourselves? Like if we have the choice to do whatever we want, will we end up having like some sort of mental disorder? Like, say for example, you know, people with a lot of money, yeah, even if they have a lot of money, they end up, you know, finding ways to distort their image, like plastic surgery, for example. So if we suddenly have genetic engineering, would we poison ourselves in a way that, say, we can, you know, burn calories efficiently and build good muscle mass, but would then that make us become potentially greedy, like gluttonous? Like now that we can eat as much as we want without having so much, you know, consequential impact on our image or look, would that be something that the company might bank on? Like hopefully hopes us that we will do that. Like would that potentially be the advertisement in the future? It's like, hey, you know, genetically engineer yourself so that you can eat as much McDonald's or KFC without gaining fat. Imagine that. I guess that's, thinking of that way, it's possible that we may solve one problem, but it can spawn out a billion more problems. And you know, we have a word for that, don't we? It's called first world problems, yeah? It wasn't a problem until it's first world issues, yeah? And I guess that you can say is a first world problem. But imagine that, like, imagine we can genetically engineer ourselves that when we take a bite of like cucumber, we modify our taste bud on our tongue to think it's like steak or something. Like our tongue receptor would think it's like something tasty and savory. Imagine we genetically change ourselves so that instead of body feeling satisfied and reward from taking sugar, it's satisfied by the reward of like, I don't know, eating like healthy vegetables. Man, the limitation, like there is no limitation, the possibility is endless. Far out. But yeah, like I don't really, I'm also kind of scared about it, because what if, say for example, there is like a clause to this? Like how do you prevent people from abusing this? Like if you can make it positive, can you potentially do it negative? Like what if some evil scientists get into the industry and decide to, I don't know, somehow, yeah, mass genetically modify the population to make them more stupid or more obedient to, say, you know, authoritarian government. Imagine that. Or, you know, only the super elite would, you know, get all the benefits. Like their kids will be like young and strong, whereas, you know, that sort of service would not be available for us. Like, how is it going to be regulated? Is that even playing God? Actually, is that even playing God, guys? Like, I haven't even talked about, like, are we messing with things that is, you know, outside of nature? Like, this is just not normal. Like, how are we going to put a pin to this? How are we going to put a stop? Like, what's too far? What is too far? Is it going to be a stage where, you know, someone's going to have a certain look and then everyone's just going to try to genetically modify their own DNA and body to look like X person? And when it comes to genetic, how far is genetic, honestly? Like, is genetic also race? Like, can you genetically change your race? Imagine that. Like, imagine you're American or Australian and you're like, you know what? I want to genetically change myself to be Korean. How does that even work? That's so bizarre to think about. But technically, genetically, I mean, that's right. Then we can probably think about like stealing other people's genetic. Like, say genetically, you know, like, can I, you know, be someone else's dad without conceiving them? Or, you know, like, what if someone steals my DNA, my genetic makeup? Say, you know, you go and, you know, had like an operation so that, you know, they genetically remove your, you know, or, you know, cancer's potential cell in your body, right? Which is like fantastic, yeah? But they have a backup of your genetic, you know, makeup. Maybe even some samples. What if someone like hackers or, you know, criminals actually steal that and make a carbon copy of you? Could they potentially genetically modify their fingertips so that they can use their biometric, you know, like your eyes or your fingerprint to get into your phones and stuff? Could the government employ and use that kind of tactics to get into your phone? Sorry, like, I'm just speculating, like, what a weird, like, because how, like, you know, we just speculating like the potential of like future genetic engineering. Obviously this might go beyond the science, right? And this is a bit more of the, you know, science fiction, but it's just fun to think about, yeah? Like, how far is too far? Who's gonna regulate it? And once it gets into the world, yeah, is this gonna be even legal? Like, and then if it's not legal, how do you stop like rich people having like an underground secret lab doing it anyways? Far out. I feel like, you know, we are so focused about talking about AI and stuff that, yeah, you know, like the world's talking about AI, that the world's not, you know, realizing that, you know, AI is just one factor that can ruin the world. Like, if we get genetic engineering, like, I think it would probably catastrophic for the world. Like, it's a beautiful thing, right? Like, just to think about, like, we don't need to age. We can eat as much as we like. We can get rid of cancer cells. We can get rid of all problems, diabetes, or any potential things that can come to us down the line. But I don't know, like, for me, it sounds scary. Like, I feel like there's gonna be people out there that's gonna be greedy, selfish. They might have biasm or an agenda, and, you know, they're gonna go out of their ways to, like, you know, be a villain and, you know, ruin everyone's happiness. It's too great of a power to be available in the world. But speaking of AI, we're gonna move on to the next topic now, guys. So the next topic is the ethic of AI. Are we heading for a moral crisis? Guys, I don't even know where to begin with talking about AI. I mean, artificial intelligence has been a big buzzword, but I gotta start from somewhere, right? So the main question is, are we heading for a moral crisis? So I guess morality, yeah, we're thinking about moral. So what kind of moral thing that could potentially be impactful in relation to AI? I guess, well, let's think about this, yeah? Well, what can AI do right now? What can AI potentially do? Well, AI can first off, you know, replace people's jobs, right? That's the thing that you probably hear the most, you know, on the news. AI replacing jobs. While I think we're a bit far away from it, it's very, very possible, especially at the rate we are in. I think realistically we have a technological limitation, not so much of an AI limitation, and let me explain. I think in terms of hardware and the technology that we have, especially the CPUs and the servers and the GPUs that we have, it's what's really causing us to have, you know, delays with AI, because, you know, there's a limitation to that. But AI itself is very, how do I explain it? Exponential, right? Which means that if we have an opportunity to, you know, upgrade our hardware, then it doesn't take very long for AI to fully utilize that kind of hardware and scale to the point where again, will be bottlenecked by the technologies that we currently have. So in other words, what I'm trying to imply is that once we get to the point of quantum computing, right, where we can now make computer CPU even smaller than what we currently have, even lighter, data can move faster than what we can currently imagine, potentially fast as light, like fiber optic fast as light. At that point, AI is just so scalable right now. Like, you train an AI, and once you train it, you can just copy it, make clones of it, then make them compete against each other. Eventually, they're gonna then manage themselves. Now, yes, we do have AI that hallucinate, and yes, AI can be kind of funny sometimes, right? But that's because we're using AI based off of our, like, say, our computer or phone or like public servers. We have yet to really understand like the power of AI on like a big scale. And once AI gets so powerful, right, that, you know, what if it gets into a position of power like the government? Say, for example, you want to travel to another country. Instead of a person deciding it, it might be an AI, right? Would they also have, I don't know, the same empathy, compassion as a real human being? And say, you know, like, how do you really teach AI moral and ethic? Like, how do you teach an AI that? How do you draw the line? I feel like humans are able to make mistakes. And I guess that mistakes is what correlate our moral and ethic. The ability to kind of make mistakes, you know, a change of heart is what makes us human. If an AI is trained with a set of data and is absolute in their decision, then what if they make the wrong decision? Like a decision that is so horrifyingly wrong that they cannot change their mind to think about at all. Whereas a human might stop for a second and be like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe this is not right. Or what if AI is easily manipulated, too easily swayed? Then how can we trust AI? It's just so, we're on the line of like what kind of responsibility can AI be given to? You know, you would think that when AI comes about, human will be free from work, right? Like all the labor, all the monotonous kind of work, boring repetition will be done by AI, and we will be free to do art and music. But if you guys notice, AI is actually taking over art, music, you know, content creation, something that should be a human thing to do. You know, we are still working autonomously because, you know, AI is not reliable enough. And a good example is like self-driving cars, right? Like, you know, we are still driving cars, even though it's kind of boring and monotonous. Human is just still superior, like way more superior than AI. Like, but you know, you see AI is doing more of the content creation. Like, you see so many AI music video by triple A, you know, artists out there. So I don't know, like, you know, I guess we have to like evolve to learn about AI, guys. I know, like, I'm talking about doom and gloom, but in the end of the day, with AI being about in moral crisis, we just gotta evolve, right? It's either sink or swim, like anything. Same with genetic engineering, same with online learning. I believe that human will just find a way. They'll just find a way to overcome these issues. Just like how, you know, our forefathers has to deal with transitioning from using horses to mechanical cars, just like how, you know, our ancestors have to transition from using light candles to light switches, electricity, smartphones, computers. We'll work out the kinks as we, you know, go along. But for now, I do think that we should keep a close eye on AI and be very wary on how easy it is that it can just exponentially, expand and increase itself. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. We have now concluded our 30-minute WAP with Cap. So I hope you guys found this video entertaining, interesting, and fun to listen to. This is my first video, so excuse me if it's not very good and if I'm rambling too much. I will definitely work on it very, very much, and I'll be sure to improve on my topic, and I won't ramble as much as I did or go off topic. And as always, guys, please like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. It really motivates us to create more contents, more creative ideas. And as always, this is Capsu signing out. See you guys. Bye.